Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. We unravel a significant development in the West Philippine Sea involving a U.S. warship and Japan. Join us as we navigate through the complex waters of geopolitics. Before we dive into the recent events, let's set the stage. The West Philippine Sea, known for its strategic importance, has been a hotbed of tensions due to territorial disputes. Nations like China, the Philippines, and others have vested interests in this maritime region. Now, let's focus on the headline-grabbing action. A U.S. warship, in collaboration with Japan, has entered the fray. The move signifies a strategic alliance between the two nations, sending shockwaves through the geopolitical landscape. To comprehend the implications, we turn to geopolitical experts. Their insights shed light on the motives behind this joint action, potential ramifications, and how it may redefine the balance of power in the region. No geopolitical move is without a reaction. We examine China's response to this joint maneuver, analyzing statements from government officials and assessing the impact on Sino-US relations. The ripple effect extends beyond the immediate region. Our experts discuss the broader implications for global security, diplomatic relationships, and the evolving nature of alliances in the 21st century. As the geopolitical chessboard shifts, it's crucial to stay informed. The U.S. warship and Japan's joint action in the West Philippine Sea underscore the ever-changing dynamics of international relations. The recent events in the West Philippine Sea involve the presence and activities of various naval forces. A U.S. Navy ship was reported to have illegally intruded into waters in the South China Sea, according to a statement from the People's Liberation Army Southern Theater. However, the U.S. Navy's 7th Fleet, based in Japan, stated that the ship was conducting routine operations in international waters consistent with international law. Additionally, there were reports of Chinese vessels shadowing Philippine and U.S. ships during joint patrols in the South China Sea, as tensions continue over disputed territorial claims in the region. Furthermore, there were no reports of a U.S. warship destroying Chinese drones in the West Philippine Sea, as a claim to this effect was rated as false by fact-checkers. These events reflect the ongoing complex dynamics and territorial disputes in the region involving various naval forces. What is the international community's response to China's actions in the South China Sea? The international community has expressed concerns and condemnation regarding China's actions in the South China Sea. China's activities in the region have been criticized for undermining the rule of law and contributing to a weakening of the international law of the sea. The Arbitral Tribunal, ruling in 2016, which determined that major elements of China's claim in the South China Sea were unlawful, was met with a negative reaction from China, as it maintained that the ruling was null and void. Furthermore, the U.S. has demonstrated its commitment to upholding a free and open Indo-Pacific, including the South China Sea, and has expressed support for its allies in the region, such as the Philippines, in the face of China's assertive actions. The disputes in the South China Sea are seen as fundamentally about claims of sovereignty, with the broadest of these claims being staked by Beijing. The international community's response reflects the complex and contentious nature of the territorial disputes in the region. The security cooperation between the United States, South Korea, and Japan has expanded into the Indo-Pacific region, extending beyond concerns related to North Korea. This development, known as the Indo-Pacific Dialogue, is deemed significant by experts, aiming to discourage Beijing from escalating threats in the area. The inaugural Indo-Pacific Dialogue took place in Washington last week, where the three nations explicitly named China and discussed its dangerous and escalatory behavior in the South China Sea. In a joint statement issued on January 5, they expressed opposition to any unilateral attempts to change the status quo by force or coercion. In the Indo-Pacific, emphasizing the importance of peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait. Gary Samore, former White House coordinator for arms control and weapons of mass destruction in the Obama administration, highlighted the desire for this trilateral cooperation to go beyond addressing North Korea and also address potential threats from China. The decision to launch the Indo-Pacific Dialogue was made during a summit at Camp David in August, where U.S. President Joe Biden, South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol, and Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida drew attention to China's aggressive behavior in the region. China's efforts to assert sovereignty over the South China Sea and its claims over Taiwan have caused tensions with neighboring Southeast Asian countries. Additionally, Chinese jets making incursions into the Korea Air Defense Identification Zone without proper identification have raised concerns in East Asia. Daniel Russell, former Assistant Secretary of State for East Asian and Pacific Affairs, emphasized that enhanced trilateral strategic and security cooperation serves as a substantial deterrent, sending a crucial signal to Beijing about the growing unity among the three powerful nations. In response, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning expressed opposition to the trilateral grouping, labeling it an exclusionary grouping and criticizing any moves toward Taiwan independence. Chinese state-run Global Times published an article suggesting that the U.S. has persuaded Seoul and Tokyo to recognize China as a common adversary. The article speculated that the political and military alliance among the three countries will strengthen to collectively counter China. The trilateral Indo-Pacific dialogue is seen as a significant shift for South Korea, which previously focused primarily on deterring North Korean threats. However, since the improvement in relations between Yoon and Kishida in March, culminating in the trilateral summit in August, South Korea has actively joined the U.S. and Japan in countering China. Experts highlight the significance of this alignment, noting that South Korea's security and economy are at risk if conflict erupts in the South China Sea. A report by Marcus Garlauskas, director of the Indo-Pacific Security Initiative at the Atlantic Council, warns of potential Chinese strikes on U.S. bases in South Korea if protracted conflict arises over Taiwan, a scenario that aligns with President Biden's commitment to defending Taiwan and the Philippines in case of Chinese attacks. Thank you for joining us on this insightful journey.